Well, welcome everyone. My name is Michael Coldesina. I'm the manager of travel industry accounts with Sports Travel and Tours. I have been with the company full time since 2011. And with me today is Mindy Strauss, who has been a tour host long predating my arrival at the company. And before that, actually started out as one of our travelers. And so I'll let Mindy introduce herself to you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mindy Strauss, and I'll be your host for the Lakes. Looking forward to it. It's one of my favorite sports travel trips. So every couple of years I ask to do it. So as I said, I'm looking forward to it. Michael mentioned I started out as a traveler in 2001. My first trip was the East Coast Express. And after doing that trip, I decided that was a great way to take vacation every year. So about my third, maybe fourth year, I was doing the West Coast trip, and the host on the trip, Dan Wall, I don't know if any of you have met Dan. Dan said, we had these two 18-year-old boys who were on our trip. It was their high school graduation present. And 18-year-old boys never wake up on time. So we were standing outside the bus waiting for them, and Dan said, hey, have you ever thought about doing this? I'm like, doing what? And he said, being a tour host. And I said, I have a real job. And Dan said, so do I. I take vacation from my real job, and I go on vacation and have a great time with baseball fans. So here I am. My first year was actually, this is my 20-year anniversary with Sports Travel and Tours. I started in 2005. So and I love meeting people from all over the country, all over the world. Actually, I've met people from other countries, and it's a great time. So looking forward to meeting all of you. I don't know that any of you, I had the list of names from the tickets, but I don't know that I've traveled with any of you before. So if I forgot and any of you have traveled with me, I apologize, but remind me when I see you in person in a few days.
And for me, it's nice to put. I know a number of you. I've spoken with you on a number of occasions, not just for this trip. So it's nice to finally see a face with a name. But let's go ahead and get started. We're going to go through the itinerary day by day. Please feel free to ask a question either as we're going through the itinerary, or if you'd like to wait, you can certainly ask it at the end. We'll stay on as long as we need to. But let me just go ahead and share my screen here. And if you could mute your microphone while we're going through this, just so we don't get any background noise. And let's see. There we go. Okay. So I know some of you may be coming in a day early, but the trip itself starts on Saturday, June 21st in Toronto, uh, arriving by 4 p.m. into Toronto and making your way to the Weston Harbor Castle. There are Uber credits that should have been sent out and hopefully received by everyone. You also should have received the link to your final documents in a little mailer. Effect. Mindy, if you want to hold up what you should have received via mail within the last couple of days. Let's see. You might have to hold it up a little closer. It's kind of there we go. There we go. It's just a nice zippered pouch that has some information and has a QR code that you can scan to get to your final documents. But we also sent out the link to the final documents via email to everyone, which also included the invitation to tonight's webinar. So if you're here on the webinar, you've received the link to the final documents, and then hopefully you've also received the nice zippered pouch in the mail recently. If not, just let me know at the end, and we'll make sure that we get one out to you if it has not arrived. Anyway, so the Western Harbor Castle, right, excuse me, right on Lake Ontario, within a pretty easy walk to a lot of different things, including the Rogers Center where the Blue Jays play and also the CN Tower. But at 5:30 at the hotel, you'll be able to meet Mindy face to face. You should have a hospitality desk set up there right in the lobby. And then at 6:15, there will be a dinner reception. And then the remainder of the evening is going to be at leisure. The trip reception is going to be a light meal with non-alcoholic beverages. And more than likely, there should also be then a cash bar or a bar. So if you want to enjoy a cocktail, you can do that on your own as well. And then Sunday, July 22nd, after breakfast, we're going to, well, I shouldn't say we, but Mindy and the rest of you will be taking a nice leisurely walk to the CN Tower, which is just about a 15 to 20-minute walk from the hotel and sits right next to the Rogers Center. The CN Tower at one point was the tallest freestanding structure in the world. Now it's still one of the tallest in North America, if not the tallest in North America. But there are a few structures that are now taller than the CN Tower. But it gives you just incredible views. Hopefully, it'll be a nice clear day, and you'll be able to see across the lake into the United States and north beyond, well beyond Toronto. Later on in the afternoon, just across the street at the Rogers Center, the White Sox will be taking on the hometown Blue Jays. And then the rest of the evening will be free to explore Toronto at leisure. The next morning after breakfast, we will be departing towards Detroit. We'll be heading kind of southeast through the most southerly portion of Canada. And we're making a stop at the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame in the town of St. Mary's. Just about a two and a
We're
half
heading
hour.
south. Michael, we're heading southwest, not southeast.
Oh, you're right, southeast. Sorry,
No,
my bad there.
southwest.
Yep. If you head southeast from Toronto, you're going to be in the lake, and that's not
Right,
good.
right.
Anyway, so the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame will be a great place to explore all of the Canadian players and managers and other baseball notables that have made an impact on the game. And after this, there'll be lunch en route. It'll be approximately another 2.5 hours to 2 hours and 45 minutes to Detroit and the Hilton Garden Inn that will be your home for the next 2 evenings. And the hotel itself is ideally situated. It's literally 2 blocks from Comerica Park, no more than a 5-minute walk to the game. But day four, Tuesday,
Michael, can I interject something?
absolutely.
Just a note for you guys to make to yourself, because you're going to come into Canada, you're going to have your passport or your passport card. But when we go back after the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame and lunch, we have a border crossing. Make sure, and I'll remind you guys before that, but when you get on the bus in the morning, make sure your passport is with you, not in your luggage under the bus, because oftentimes we've had to get off the bus and go into the building at the border crossing, and they check every single one of our passports. Sometimes they just get on the bus and they randomly check them, but we have to have them available either way. So just something to make a note to yourself. Again, I'll try to remind you the day before. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
Nope, no problem. Very good point. So we're off to the Henry Ford Museum in Greenfield Village. If you've never been to the Henry Ford Museum, I mean, literally, it could be an all-day event. It's an incredible museum, and then the Greenfield Village, which is really kind of like a living history museum in and of itself, is definitely going to be someplace that you're going to enjoy. Uh, Afterwards, we'll head back towards Comerica Park for our game that evening against the Athletics. 6:40 start. And as I said, just a leisurely walk back to the hotel, just 2 blocks away. Wednesday, day 5, we'll be on our way to Cleveland. This also will be about a 2 hour and 45-minute drive. We'll be going directly to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is it's not very far from the hotel, which is right across the street from Progressive Field. Uh, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is a great location, almost directly on Lake Erie, and has a wealth of information about the history of rock and roll and artifacts from its beginning all through until probably they'll have displays for items that have just been put there within the last year or two. Every time I go, they have new displays with new memorabilia that's been either donated or is on loan from either an individual, a group, or another museum.
And Patricia, I know the Georges, you're meeting us at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So if when you all get there, if you can call me and let me know that you're there, and I will meet up with you so that I can tell you what time and where we're going to meet the bus to go to the hotel.
And then just remember, Mindy's cell number is at the top of the documents. And we just ask you that to use her number once your trip has started. If anything comes up where we need to get involved and there's a question beforehand, please call us at the main office using the 800 number. But once your trip is started, then please feel free to use Mindy's number to contact her. All right, let's scroll back to Cleveland. So on day 6, we'll be heading to Canton, but we're going to have a stop in, excuse me, we'll be heading to Pittsburgh, but we're going to have a stop in Canton along the way to visit the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Canton is just about an hour at the most, probably south of Cleveland. And this is a great, similar museum to the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum in Cooperstown. But obviously, this is dedicated to the history of professional football, not just in the United States, but throughout the world, and has a number of immersive exhibits to put you at one with what many people call America's game, but baseball fans might beg to differ with that. After we depart the Hall of Fame, and there's a great new area if you haven't been recently, where there's plenty of places for lunch. The whole kind of Hall of Fame village that they have is really a nice addition. That I know it was pre-COVID. I don't remember exactly when it opened, but it's been about 6 years now.
It didn't fully open 2 years ago. There wasn't a whole lot there yet. So it wasn't fully opened yet.
All right, excellent. We'll be staying at the Station Square Hotel in Pittsburgh. And if you do have leisure time that evening, I strongly suggest taking a short walk. There's two inclines in Pittsburgh. There's the Monongahela and the Duquesne, and I always forget which one is the closest to the Station Square Hotel, but one of them is literally about a 3-minute walk from the lobby, and it doesn't cost very much to take it. It takes you up about 600, 700 feet where you're overlooking the city and the Three Rivers area, and you can see both PNC Park and the stadium that was formerly known as Heinz Field, and I can't remember what it's called now, but it's
It
a
starts with an
beautiful,
A.
yeah, it starts with an A. It's going to take a while for me to get on to remember that one, but spectacular vistas, spectacular pictures. I highly recommend it that evening once you arrive. The next day after breakfast, we'll be departing for the Roberto Clemente Museum. I have not seen this museum yet, but I've heard back from people that have visited it, and it is a awesome memorial to Roberto Clemente, and not just his on-field career, but a lot of the charity work that he did as well. Afterwards, we'll head back to the hotel, and then in the afternoon at 4:30, we're actually going to take the riverboat across the Monongahela River to PNC Park. So the Monongahela is the one that is closest to the park. The or no, excuse me. I believe it's the Allegheny is the closest to the park. The Monongahela is the one that is kind of south and east, and when they meet, they form the Ohio River. The Mets will be taking on the Pirates, and this should be a good matchup. Hopefully the Pirates might start turning things around. They certainly did a number on my Phillies this past weekend, so hopefully they'll continue to do well. They have an exciting team, and they have a great young pitcher. With any luck, maybe you'll get to see him throw. Day 8, Saturday, off to Cincinnati. This will probably be our longest drive of the trip, just about 5 hours, and we'll certainly break that up with at least one or two stops. But we want to make sure that we're in time to be able to visit both the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame and Museum, and make sure that we're in time for those that want to catch some batting practice before the Padres and the Reds game at Great American Ballpark. We're staying at the Hilton Cincinnati Airport, which is actually in northern Kentucky, where the airport is. And so the next day, Sunday, is departing at leisure after breakfast. The hotel has a shuttle, so you can just take the shuttle whenever you need to get over to Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky International Airport for your flights home. Now, does anyone have any questions?
I have a couple.
Certainly.
Okay, first of all, about how long before game time will we be getting to the stadiums?
We always try to get there when the gates open. In some cases, as Michael mentioned, we are walking distance to the stadium. So for example, in Cleveland, we are catty corner from the stadium. So when we come back from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you'll have a little bit of time. We'll be checking in the hotel, and then you should have a little bit of time prior to gates open. But we always, when we attempt, when we're on the road and driving directly to the stadium, we try to set the time so that we can get there when gates open, because we know people like to watch batting practice or check out the stadium, walk
Right,
around, see
right.
everything. So
Before there's a
that's,
crowd.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's the goal, Rob. Sometimes, as you know, especially when we're on the road, we may hit traffic or
right.
construction or something like that. But that's our goal, is to
All
try
right.
and let you do that. And again, if you're walking there on your own, then you would want to, figure out what time you want to leave the hotel. In Detroit, we're only a few blocks away, so it's not far at all either.
All right. My
Toronto's
other question, my one more question, at least for now. So you sent us all the tickets in the ballpark app, the Hall of Fame admission for the Reds Hall of Fame. When I open it, it says barcode unavailable. Is
yeah.
that just because it's so early?
No, there's, I have that information. I checked with Anthony and Campo in our office,
Uh,
and that is they didn't expect there to be a barcode. That's your ticket to get in.
okay. And that
So
one you can't download to the wallet, but that's
right, right.
okay.
And that's why I asked him that, because it didn't happen. But if we're all going to get there at the same time and we go up there,
It
the
won't matter.
tickets are all under his name. So if there's a problem, I will wait there until all of you guys get in. So that shouldn't be we shouldn't have an issue.
Yeah, and you'll be arriving all together at the Reds Museum from Pittsburgh, so everyone should be there at the same time.
Yeah. Depending on where the bus drops us off, we'll have to walk down to the museum.
One more question. I don't know if this is going to happen, but if I happen to have a friend who is in that same city and wants to join us for the game, do we are there might there be extra tickets in our little block that would be available, or do they just have to wing it and get their
It
own ticket?
it's possible. If you think that's a possibility, I would check with us like ASAP, because typically if we do have extra seats, we do try to sell those. So I don't know if we have any at this point. If not, we can always try to get some that are as close as possible to our locations.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to happen, but I just thought I'd have that in my back pocket if it did.
Yeah, or your friend can always check with the box, with the ticket office. If they,
Right.
last minute come to the stadium, say, is there anything in this section near this row?
All right. Do you have any question?
My question was, is this the maximum people that are going? You have a limit to how many people can participate. Have we reached that limit? I'm just wondering if this
Yeah,
is a full tour.
no,
We have,
it will not be a full tour, but it will be about half full.
yeah.
Okay, great.
As of now, I believe we have 19 total.
Oh, cool.
That's
So
good.
it just depends. And then we may not know until the morning the bus shows
Right.
up if we have a 50 passenger bus or if we have a 30 passenger bus. So, but there should be plenty of room.
Okay, and I didn't catch, how long do we have in these various museums?
Well, it'll depend on the day. So for example, since we just were talking about the Reds Museum, that's going to be When we get there, you can go to the Museum and Hall of Fame and spend as much time as you want, knowing that the game starts at 4:10.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, if you want to go into the game when the gates open, then you'll have to watch your time. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, we're going to get there. We're going to have a certain amount of time based on the time we get there. You're going to have lunch there.
Okay.
Usually we're there 2.5 to 3 hours, which will include lunch, because then we'll head over to check in the hotel. We usually can't check in before 3 or so anyway, so we'll have
That's right.
plenty of time.
Cool. Is it usually that lunch is on our own? I was just trying to budget and think in my mind, because there's so much paid up front, and then what's the spending money as far as meals?
So usually we have, and it says in there, I think every
Lunch
hotel,
on own, yeah.
yeah, I think every hotel has breakfast. Is that right, Michael? I think
I
we have
believe
breakfast for
so. I
all of
will
our
double
hotels.
check.
We've tried to do that over the last several years because it makes it more convenient, especially if we're leaving that morning. You have breakfast there and then head out. Usually it'll tell you if a meal is included. The only meal other than breakfast is going to be that's not on your own, is going to be your trip reception at the beginning. So everything else, dinners and lunches, are on your own. And if
Okay.
we're on the road, we try to stop at a place that gives us a variety. You know, a couple places you can go, or I'm trying to think if there's, I know when we leave the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame, if we go into St. Mary's, there's a strip in an area where there's a few, like a deli and a few other places to stop. So we try to do that for lunch. And then dinner, oftentimes it's on your own because you're at the ballpark.
Right.
So,
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. And breakfast is included in all the hotels.
thought I had read that. Okay. Which is nice.
Convenient.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Any other questions?
I have a question. So we've got the ticket for the Reds Hall of Fame, but like for the other tickets, like Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Henry Ford Museum, CN Tower, things like that, will we be getting in as a group? Will we get those when we get there? How does that kind of work?
It'll be a group. So I will, for example, our first group event is the CN Tower. I need to go over there and actually get our tickets from them and hand them out. So yes, we'll go over as a group. Same thing, Henry Ford Museum, we arrive together. I go up and they'll come out and they'll give us, there's going to be a ticket for the Ford Museum and then a ticket for Greenfield Village. So I will get all of those to you. Yeah. And anything else, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, same thing. You're stuck with me. Let's just put it that way. You can't lose me.
Yeah. Don't lose Mindy. All right. Any other questions?
Can you resend me the email with the link to the PDF?
For the itinerary?
Yeah.
So did you guys get this yet?
Get what?
Did you get this in the mail?
Got
Or
it today.
Today about
Came
today?
today.
Okay.
And
So
there's
in
a
the
QR
front,
code there.
in the front packet,
Yeah.
there's a QR code.
Right.
And I think, Michael, does that give them the itinerary for our trip,
Yes,
or
it
is that
does.
just to the Hall of
No,
Fame?
it should be for
No,
the Lakes trip.
For the Lakes trip?
But
Okay.
I can send it via email as well. Well,
Okay.
what I'll do is tomorrow when we send out the link for this recording, I'll include the link for the final documents again as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
I'm going to double check it because I didn't check it to see what it shows, but
No, the QR code goes to the document. It does.
it does go to that. Okay.
Yeah, I
I was
opened
just
it.
going to double check it. Thank you.
All right.
That way,
And-
when you're on the road, if you don't have access to your email, you can always check that.
Right.
All right. Any other questions?
Oh, one thing that I was kind of thinking about, since I'm not real familiar with the area, is it likely to rain and have showers occasionally in the afternoons, or is it usually dry like summertime, and we never see rain?
We never know. It's all a mystery. So it's I will honestly say We had one year that I was up in Toronto, we had a little bit of drizzle. But usually, and I'm not going to jinx us, but usually the weather's pretty good. I will say the Midwest, when we're in Detroit and Cleveland, Cincinnati, summer in the Midwest is humid.
Yep.
So you might want rain instead of the humidity. But yeah, we just have to watch the weather. It's hard to tell.
Yeah. But it's not unusual to get a little shower occasionally in the Midwest.
Yeah, especially this year.
Yeah. Good
And
to
I
know.
would say that in Toronto, you could still want a jacket depending on how the weather happens to be. It could
Yeah.
also be hot.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
Right.
That's true.
Good. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else have a question? All right. Well, if there's no other questions, I would like to. Oh, yes, Candy.
You're on
I
mute. Oh, there you are.
I believe I have 5 baseball tickets and an Uber voucher. Have you sent me anything else electronically?
Okay.
See, 5 so if
That
we
should
can't.
be it.
I
And then
just want to make sure.
you should also have, as Rob was saying, you should also have received the Reds Hall of Fame. It looks like a ticket, but it doesn't have a barcode. So you have that as well?
Mhm. I
Okay.
believe so.
Okay. Then that would be, yeah, then that should be everything
Yes,
that's
I think.
everything I received. And the Georges, I have your tickets. Because you're meeting us in Cleveland. So I have your tickets for Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati on my phone. So you all have to stay with me to go to the game.
All right. Well, if there's no other questions, just to recap, I did say that we were recording this, so I will send out that link to be able to rewatch this at your leisure tomorrow, and we'll also in that email send out the link again to the final documents. And just if you have any questions before the day that your trip starts, please call us at the main offices for Sports Travel and Tours at 1-800-662-4424. And then if the trip has started, it's the first day or any part of time during the trip, you can reach out to the cell phone number that you have at the top of the documents for Mindy. But thank you for joining us this Monday evening. And I hope you have a great evening for the rest of the day, and look forward to seeing some pictures from Mindy on the Lakes Plus.
I have to remember to take them. Nice
Have a
meeting
good
you all.
night.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.
All right,
You
bye-bye.
soon.
Nice
Bye.
to
I'll
meet
see
you.
you
Have a
soon.
good evening.
Bye.